Weekdays on the Network 216 YouTube channel. Send us all your questions and comments on Twitter at @VSG_podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Tyler Johnson, Jordan Dalton, and Nick Leisure.
Good evening, Buckeye Nation, and welcome to episode number 61 of the Scarlet and Gray podcast. I am Tyler Johnson, as always, joined by the boys, Jordan Dalton, Nick Leisure. Gentlemen, happy Tuesday night. How are you guys doing this evening?
Well, I'm tired. Did a lot of driving today.
Yeah, my man was all about Indy. He drove to Indy, drove back, and then he's gracing us with his presence on the pod tonight. So it's like we are so lucky to have all three of us together tonight.
Bringing it back,
Facts. No, absolutely. But, of course, guys, anyone that's joined us tonight, as a reminder, take that quick second, if you would, please. Drop a like onto that video. Subscribe if you are brand new to the channel. Again, completely free to do both. Show that support again. Doesn't cost you anything. So if you really would show your support, drop it a like, subscribe, we really would appreciate it. There's plenty to talk about tonight from the Buckeyes, as we are going to recap Ohio State and Western Michigan. We're going to recap some of the snap totals from this game. We're going to go over scores from around college football, and we're even going to start a segment where we're going to kind of do our own little college game day. We're going to pick some games for the weekend, and then we're going to come back next week, and we're going to start keeping a tally of how everyone's doing record-wise. So should be a lot of fun. But we do have a piece of news to get to. Nick shared this with me, so appreciate him sharing this because I have been busy today and did not see this. Ohio State, guys, has actually announced that it is creating the 1922 club. It's going to be an exclusive private club and dining venue coming to Ohio Stadium in 2026. There's a lot of details on this, but basically it's going to cost about $4,500 for a club membership. Limited spots are going to be available. It includes all-inclusive food, beer, wine, cash bar for spirits, club access 3 hours prior to kickoff, 1 hour after the game, private restrooms, which is good because the restrooms at the Horseshoe are literally pig troughs. And then you have dedicated premier entrance, opportunities to host private events, pre-sale ticket access for events, access to exclusive member-only special events, and much more. But there are going to be social memberships as well for non-game days that will cost about $1,000. But, guys, what do you think about this? I mean, this is just another opportunity for Ohio State in the NIL front. A great opportunity, I will say, definitely the upper echelon of those, like, to the fan base. So a little bit different than Ohio State is doing, besides, like, being able to go online and donate $10 or whatever it might be. So what do you guys think about this idea?
Personally, I think like the social membership is the one that kind of intrigues me the most, just because it gets people a chance to get into the stadium without there being a game going on. So like the Tuesday through Sunday type membership, whatever. I'm curious to see if it's going to be like an all year round availability type thing. So like getting fans into the shoe in the wintertime, in the summer, like and times when there's no football going on. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely going to get, like you said, the upper echelon. It's going to get a lot of the higher end donors, kind of just another opportunity to get into the stadium and get more involved. Because, I mean, I'm assuming a lot of those proceeds will probably go to the NIL fund is what I'm imagining. But, I mean, it's just another revenue stream that the shoe can provide. And, I mean, hopefully they continue to make, a lot of improvements to the stadium because we all know it needs it to stay modern. So,
yeah, I think a lot of it will go to renovating the stadium, but I don't think they're going to have an issue selling these tickets. If I'm being honest, I think it'll be, just another way to make money and get that fund to grow, especially when you see the tab of how much the roster is costing just to field a football team now. So, not bad things. Not bad things at all.
What I think this also brings to the table, too, is, let's say, recruiting visits, showing families, hey, you come to a game here, this is what we got for you. And I think you're seeing Tennessee. Now, I don't know what, types of programs and memberships they might have there, but Tennessee is starting to build something out similar to this. You're going to see a lot of schools, I think. This is a great way of getting more NIL funds. to the program. Again, like this is going to attract the higher end, and depending on, how many memberships you're selling, you're talking you could make close to $1 million depending on what all you're selling here. So it's a great opportunity. I think also kind of like we talked about, guys, Ross Bjork coming in as AD, a lot of things are going to change. It's not a slight at Gene Smith at all. He did a great job as athletic director, but you have to be modern to the times and realize that when changes need to be made in order to be in the modern college football landscape, that you're willing to do whatever it takes. And so I think that's just another way that Ross Bjork is really going to be growing this program. And I can't wait to see what else he has planned, because I know this is just the beginning. So, just a nice piece of news that came out from today. The main thing, of course, to talk about, guys, is Ohio State. So Ohio State played Western Michigan on Saturday night. Complete shutout, 56-0 over Western Michigan. Western Michigan was without Jalen Buckley, obviously their best offensive player. That was a big loss. One of their all-MAC performers on the offensive line went out, I believe, first or second play of this game. So they were without him. It was rough for the Broncos, but just what were some of your initial takeaways from this game? And then, of course, we'll get into some stats and then snap counts, things like that.
Well, for me, the MAC had a really good day up until this point. Northern Illinois knocked off number 5 Notre Dame. Go Huskies. Bowling Green had a really close game with Penn State. They led at halftime. They only lost by 7. And the MAC had a pretty good weekend the weekend before as well. Western Michigan, who we played, took Wisconsin into the fourth quarter and played them really tough. So just the way Ohio State went out and started fast and didn't let Western Michigan get comfortable at all in the game, I think spoke volumes to the way that they approached it differently from Akron. And I saw everything I needed to see on Saturday.
Yeah, you pretty much hit it on the head, dude. It was just dominant from start to finish. You couldn't really ask for anything more. Just an overall great performance, clean performance. Both sides of the ball, they looked really solid. I know we'll get into all the details coming up here, but I agree with you, Jordan. I think this game kind of checked all the boxes for an opponent like Western Michigan, who, coming into this game, I'm sure they were riding some confidence, especially with their performance against Wisconsin the week before. So, it was just a great game, great performance, and just something to build on. I know we have a bye this week, but they're not calling it a bye. They're calling it an improvement week. So hopefully they can I'm sure they're going to practice hard this week, getting ready for Marshall next Saturday.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for me in this game was just overall the offensive efficiency. Something that seems to be that we're seeing an improvement with. The Buckeyes are just starting to get more and more comfortable on the offensive side of the ball. And when you have a quarterback, like I said, like Will Howard coming in as a transfer, you have other guys that are transfers, Quidshot Judkins, we'll get to him in a minute as well. But some of these, it takes time to mesh. I feel like sometimes with this new transfer portal that we are seeing from college football, you're seeing it kind of across the country. Notre Dame has a problem at quarterback with Riley Leonard, it appears. Some of these other transfer quarterbacks, Dylan Gabriel's not necessarily lighting it up. Like, you're seeing some struggles here. So I think the more the Buckeyes are playing, Will Howard's getting more and more comfortable, which is really good to see. But I think also Chip Kelly, most importantly, is really starting to get in a groove calling plays. I think we can agree in the first week, guys, he was kind of feeling things out a little bit. He wanted to try some things out, see what was working, but it seemed like against Western Michigan, everything was working. I wanted to get to some stats because just some incredible stats. When you're looking back on it. So total yards, okay. Without looking, how many total yards do you think Western Michigan had on Saturday night? Does anybody have a guess?
I already know this because they talk about it on the radio all day yesterday.
Okay.
All right,
that's fine.
I want to say like 160 total yards.
Okay, then Nick, don't guess because 99. Western Michigan in 4 quarters of football on Saturday at the Shoe had 99 total yards, which to me is just absolutely just insane. I mean, I don't know. The only time you ever see a performance like that is in college football 25. I mean, other than that, you never see a defensive performance.
That's not even
like
true,
that.
dude. No, that is not even true. College football, the players in college football 25 are putting up 100 yards a game at least.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
care who you are.
every now and then you can have if you're playing an FCS team, let me say that.
No,
if you're playing
but
an FCS team, like
99 yards is absurd. I mean, it's a Division I program. I mean, 71 passing, 28 rushing. That's the defense came ready to play.
Yeah, absolutely. Will Howard in this game, 18 of 26, 292, 1 touchdown, 11.2 yards per attempt. No interceptions. Once again, another clean game from Will Howard, which we've talked about ad nauseum. That has been the one thing that he struggled with throughout his career is turnovers. 2 games, no turnovers. Quinshon Judkins, 9 carries, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. Should have been closer to 200 yards, if I'm being completely honest. But, that's when penalties will sometimes kill certain plays. But Travion Henderson, 10 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. James Peoples, 10 carries, 51 yards, a touchdown. Sam Williams-Dixon, 3 carries, 40 yards. Will Howard had himself a rushing touchdown in this game. And then you go to receiving. Jeremiah Smith, 5 catches, my apologies, 119 yards, 1 touchdown, 23.8 yards per catch. Mecca Buka, 5 catches, 98 yards. Bennett Christian, 1 touchdown, 55 yards on 1 reception. Brandon Enos, 3 catches, 45. Carnell Tate, 3 for 45. Ballard, 1 for 12. Rogers, 1 for 12. So, guys, on the offensive side of the ball, who really impressed you most, I would say, on the offensive side of the ball? I mean, for me, I feel like it's ad nauseum, but, Jeremiah Smith is unlike truly, I feel like, anything we've ever seen in college football. A true freshman like this that remotely doesn't resemble a true freshman at all. And quite honestly, it's not out of the realm of possibility that if he keeps the performances up and keeps getting the ball the way he is, that you could, I'm not saying will, you could be talking about a guy that could be in the Heisman conversation as a true freshman.
You want to take this one first, Jordan?
I agree. I mean, I sent you a text during the game that I was like, man, if he keeps making plays like this against, opponents that are better than the 2 MAC teams we played. But, I mean, we get into Big Ten play and he starts making plays, and I think he will. We're talking about a Blitnikoff Award finalist. We're talking about a Heisman finalist as a true freshman. And, Geno Smith, his cousin, he even came out and said he might be the best wide receiver of all time, not in football.
That's insane.
And so, I mean, it's early. I know we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves, but man, you see it on the field, just the way that he hit on that curl route from a dead stop into open field and was gone. It's like you don't see that from a guy his size. Like DK Metcalf is kind of like a comparable guy that can kind of get up and going pretty quick. He's a little bit bigger, probably not as fast, but it's, real test of confidence play for sure. But, I've just been nothing but impressed since he's touched the field.
Yeah, and my dad over here, Derek, talking about Quinshon. I mean, like TJ mentioned, I mean, he should have had almost 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, just because he had the 80-yard touchdown run that got called back due to a penalty. But, I think running backs, I mean, we all knew it. I mean, we knew Quinshon and Hendy were going to be the most dynamic running back duo in college football. And in this game, they really shined. I think the one play that really stands out to me is when Henderson it was only like a 23, 25-yard touchdown run, but he hit the edge and he was just gone. He hit the gas and it was going to be a touchdown no matter what. I mean, there wasn't that much space for him to even get around the edge, but once he hit the edge, it was just like no one's catching him. And I think they're just so dynamic because they both have that top-end speed, but I think Quinshon's a little bit more of like a power back just because he's a little bit bigger. But, I mean, they're both just so elusive, and they just have such top-end speed that if you get them out in the open space, good luck trying to bring them down because they're awesome. I mean, they're just so dynamic. And then You throw James Peoples into the mix too. Even Sam Williams-Dixon getting in on the action. I mean, you love to see that from 2 true freshmen coming in and being able to contribute. I know it's Western Michigan, but I mean, this is still their first taste of really college football other than Peoples. He played in the first game, but Sam Williams-Dixon coming in, being able to contribute. It's really great to see. It's really promising to see those running backs really start to develop, because now after Quinshon and Travion probably gone after this year, you got a couple guys in the stables that are going to be able to contribute next season.
Yeah, I even wanted to say Quinshon didn't really get started in the Akron game. He never really got in the rhythm. It looked like they were also kind of feeling out how they were going to use the running backs. And then in the second game, he kind of really got the show at everybody that's an Ohio State fan what they got. And man, they got a good one. Like that dude, when he hit, it was a holding call that called it back, but he hit that 80-yard run. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I didn't know he had speed like that. Like, it's going to be an exciting year for sure. Like, I'm excited just to see, like TJ was saying last episode, they haven't really shown us what they're going to do on offense. I still believe they kind of threw in a little bit more wrinkle in this game against Western Michigan than they did against Akron. And I think it's going to be kind of the same until we get into conference play. But you saw a little bit more RPO. You saw Will Howard getting out of the pocket on some design boots, like RPO rolling out, and then he'd have like an speed out route that he could hit in the flats. And there was a lot of like really cool like Chip Kelly RPO style things that he was doing with Will Howard that we wouldn't have seen with McCord last year. And now having the ability to hand it off to Quinshon Judkins or Travion Henderson, it just makes our offense that much more explosive. So yeah, definitely excited.
I think too, like, and I've told you guys, when it comes to scratching the surface with the offense, they are starting to peel it back a little bit more, like, and show more and more. We still have not seen them in the backfield together. And the other thing we've not seen that we will is an RPO with both of them in the backfield. Like, I find it hard to believe how you stop this offense truly, because there's just so many weapons everywhere, including at the running back position. It's just going to be difficult. And what really I noticed in this game, Will Howard, I mean, I think has all the freedom in the world. Like they said on the broadcast, he has 3 options. He can run it, he can hand it off, or he can start running. As long as, and we saw it, as long as he doesn't go past the line of scrimmage, man, he can still throw the ball. Like it's kind of incredible what Chip Kelly has done to this offense. And I think we have to kind of give some credit here to Ryan Day, because I know like we've criticized mainly me. I'll say mainly me, because I've had quite a few rants on this show in the past about Ryan Day's play calling. Ryan Day has given Chip Kelly all the freedom in the world. You're not seeing anything really from a Ryan Day offense. You're seeing all Chip Kelly. And I just think Ryan Day deserves a lot of credit for that. I wanted to propose a question to you guys. So C says here in the chat about Jeremiah Smith, he's the best wide receiver in college football, not a question. He's got more polish and athleticism than I've ever seen, more than Marvin Harrison Jr. What do you guys think about that one? Now, coming in, of course, all the hype in the world is Jeremiah Smith. Marvin Harrison Jr. did not have this hype, okay? We knew he was the son of a former Hall of Famer. Like, we knew that. But he was a 4-star. Jeremiah Smith was a 5-star consensus #1 recruit. How do you guys feel about that? Jeremiah Smith, Marvin Harrison Jr.
I mean, he's backing up the hype right now. I mean, I still think it's just too early. I mean, Obviously you see the speed, you see the size, and I mean, he can obviously run every route in the tree. I mean, he can do everything right now. He's a big physical kid too. So like, and Brian Hartline, would not be starting him if he couldn't block in the run game either. Because I know their big thing is they want their receivers to be able to block in the run game. If you can't block, you're not going to play receiver at Ohio State. So for him to be able to come in as a true freshman and start day one means that he can block too. I mean, so it's still hard to say, but it's trending that way.
I think at this point in their careers,
Yes.
You have to go with Jeremiah Smith
100%.
just on the fact that he's on the field. And he's not even just like on the field. He's starting.
He's the number one option.
He's arguably the number one option on the team. With two guys that are pretty dang good wide receivers.
Yeah.
So
it's so tough for me because, like, Nick, I kind of agree with you. I find it really hard that I can say right now, without a doubt, that this guy is better than one of the greatest receivers in Ohio State history based off 2 games.
Now, if he goes crazy and, like, I mean,
it's so tough for me because I'm at that point where I'm like, this guy does have the talent.
Let's see how he plays at Oregon.
This is just like a mid-season discussion and then end-of-season discussion. For sure.
I'll say if he goes to Oregon and goes to Eugene, on October 12th, that he just dominates the football game, then I think
could happen.
No, absolutely. Then I think
Oregon's played.
Well, yeah, but
I would say so. Something to consider. So the one thing I wasn't really on the hype. Like, I knew he was going to be really good, but I didn't think he was going to be like dominating. Like, he's dominating football games right now.
Yeah.
And it's just like he gets the ball and it's just like
it's easy.
No one touches him. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It is it's really cool for sure. I'm excited to see it just how the season goes for him.
And backing up what your dad said here, Nick, the guy just wants to get better. Like, they talk to him and he'll talk about what he can do better. Like, it's just kind of incredible to me. Like, there aren't a lot of athletes, especially now in this era of the NIL, because a lot of these guys think they're consider themselves professionals at this point, that have that just type of mentality. Like, he truly arguably could be the best receiver in college football, but you would never know that based off him talking at all.
I'll say, and you kind of could see that because he came to Ohio State in the first place. Everyone asked him, well, why'd you go to Ohio State over Miami? It's like, because you knew Miami probably offered him more money than we could at the time. And he was like, I went to Ohio State because I want to be the best receiver that I can be. And Ohio State's the place where I could be that player. So it's like, he wants to work. He's putting in the work, and you can see it translate to the field, obviously. But yeah, I mean, he wants to come here. He wants to work hard. And he wants to be the best player in college football. And that's why he came to Ohio State, because he knows that Hartline can. If anyone's going to be able to develop him to be a top tier NFL talent, it's going to be Brian Hartline. So,
I love that he wears number 4.
Yeah,
Holmes throwback.
Ooh, yeah, that's true.
Dude, that's a really good point. As far as the offense, like, those were, I mean, the running game, of course, really want to talk about that. Jeremiah Smith, had to discuss him, of course. You can't go a show without talking about him. Kind of like Marvin last year, or Marvin for the last 3 years. But what else from the offense, guys? And then we can go to defense. What else from the offense, like, stood out to you, if anything else, again? I mean, it was an utter domination. I mean, that's period.
I just want to give a shout out to the offensive line, because we gave them a really hard time in week 1. And they balled out in week 2.
Yes, they did.
Led the charge. Seth McLaughlin led the charge there, playing center. Played great. I don't think we had a sack.
Well, I think Devin got sacked.
Devin took a sack.
Devin got
I'm talking like Will Howard didn't hit the ground.
No, Will Howard.
Howard might not hit the ground very much this year, just based off his sheer athletic ability that he has.
Well,
I mean, that dude's. I'll tell you what. Listen, we're not going to do this on this show because people want to talk about it from time to time. We're not going to compare Howard and McCord all year. We're just not going to do it. But I'll tell you,
McCord's balling. So.
Yeah, no, good for him, seriously. But I'll tell you, Will Howard brings something this offense has not had in a while. Will Howard has the ability to extend plays with his legs. He has the ability to break tackle. He's a big dude, and I just think overall that's just going to help the offensive line. But, I mean, you touched it, JD, in the offensive line. That block by Seth McLaughlin, you guys know exactly the one I'm talking about. Not only anchoring the offensive line, but then getting two defenders as he's able to send Quinshon Judkins for that second touchdown. It's just incredible.
And like we've talked about, I mean, McLaughlin's not coming in was not his blocking ability. It was just his ability to snap the ball, which is like, okay, so if you shoot it over Will Howard's head, we got bigger problems. Because, I mean, So I don't think that's really going to be an issue this year, to be honest, knock on wood. But, yeah, I mean, again, just the offensive line, 273 yards rushing, 7 yards a carry. I mean, you just tip your hat to the offensive line this week. They really came ready to play. And they really made a big jump from week 1 to week 2, as we were kind of expecting to happen, hoping to happen. So hopefully they just continue to build, man.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And again, it's big for Justin Fry. I mean, coaching for his job, literally. We'll see if he ends up that's a whole other conversation regarding recruiting. We'll probably talk a little bit more on that next week, just because, again, with the Buckeyes on a bye week, there's not going to be a game to recap. So we might hit on that a little bit. But moving to the defensive side of the ball, guys, there's not really anything, I mean, to really focus on there besides the fact that 99 total yards, which is, again, just absolutely absurd. Davison Igbinosa actually was one of the top tacklers on the team, along with Caleb Downs, 4 tackles. Igbinosa actually had 3 solo tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Caleb Downs was flying all over the field. I mean, we saw that. And then sack-wise, Cody Simon, Jack Sawyer, Jalen McClain. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anyone. Tyleek Williams, Ty Hamilton. Again, more sacks, guys.
A lot of sacks, dude.
We had 5 more sacks in this game, and we talked about it. The Buckeyes.
We couldn't get home last year.
Timeout. The opponent, okay, let's just say that right now. It's a lesser opponent, sure, but one thing we weren't even seeing against lesser opponents last year was the ability to get after the quarterback like this. For me, that's the biggest thing from this defense that needed to happen this year, and we're seeing it early.
Dude, it was so great to have our defensive leader and Cody Simon back on the field. And, I mean, he made an impact right from the get-go. I mean, I think he had a sack on the first drive of the game, and then I think he had a pass breakup on that same drive on 3rd down to cause the punt. So it's great to have your defensive leader back, especially, I mean, with him being a linebacker. I mean, that linebacker room has really been a bright spot so far, and hopefully they just continue to build. But, yeah, the sacks have been crazy. I mean, Jack Sawyer got his first sack of the year, and then, I mean, I'm sure he might get close to double digits this year. The way he's been playing, I mean, he's been hitting the quarterback, man.
Yeah,
it's been nuts.
I think, and then I just want to mention Denzel Burke did get ejected early.
Yeah,
for a targeting penalty, and the secondary didn't miss a beat. And it was,
I don't think Matthews got targeted the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they played well. The targeting was kind of BS, but
the targeting was ridiculous. I will say this: Ohio State's one of the few teams in the country that can lose an All-American corner and not skip a beat. I mean, because the reality is Jermaine Matthews is starting for nearly every other team in college football. He's that good. Then you have Davison Igbinosa, who might be, I mean, some might disagree with this. I think he's the most underrated corner in college football because everybody talks about Denzel Burke, but rarely people talk about Davison Igbinosa, and the amount of swagger that he brings to this team has been crucial since he came from Ole Miss. So I just think he needs a shout out too. Like I'm more impressed with him each and every game I watch him. He's bringing something to the table. He's always there. He's not afraid to come up and run defense, which I think is big for a corner. And he reminds me a little bit, and I'm not saying like he's as good because Denzel Ward's one of the best corners in Ohio State history, but I'm talking about the ability to come up in the run game, which I think is for a corner. And I think Igbinosa at the next level in the NFL is going to end up being a really good player. I really do. It wouldn't even surprise me if at the end of the day, he's a better NFL player than Denzel Burke. They're both going to be really good. But I just think Igbinosa, the swag he brings, and also his ability to come up in the run game, I think is what's really going to help him in the NFL. So, but
yeah, dude, our secondary's nasty. I mean, plain and simple. I mean, and it's all of them, dude. All of them. Lathan Ransom, Caleb Downs, Jordan Hancock, Igbinosa, Burke, Matthews. Lorenzo Styles. I mean, dude, they're all not afraid to come up and hit you. I mean, especially our safeties and Ransom and Caleb Downs, they fly to the ball, and it is so much fun to watch. Like, I think Downs had a big play. He literally flew up from the safety spot, just read the lane the whole way, just popped the running back. It's like, what other safety in college football is doing that right now?
He might be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he's unreal.
And he's only a sophomore. Like he can't leave after this year. Knock on wood. That's I forgot about the trans. But anyway, we're not going to say that. But no, seriously. I mean, Caleb Downs is just that. He's just that good. But what I like to see, guys, and we kind of talked about it. I'm looking at the snap counts. I told you guys this after week 1, and again, you can nitpick. We have to do that on this show because when you're playing these lesser opponents, you got to find something to talk about. So nitpicking, rotation, okay? So we saw at wide receiver, you saw Carnell Tate 42 snaps, Emeka Booker 33, Jeremiah Smith 29, Bryson Rogers 25, Brandon Enos 24, Jaden Ballard 21, Kojo Antwi 13. Why Jaden Ballard's getting 21 snaps at receiver, that's a whole other thing. But anyway, rotation, Brian Hartline, rotation. The big one that stood out to me, guys, okay? Jelani Thurman led Ohio State in snaps at tight end.
Good.
26 snaps.
Good.
Should have had a touchdown. I listen, it could have been it could have been a little bit of a better throw, but man, that hit you right in the hand. Like
I think it would have been a touchdown. And they were talking about it on the broadcast. It's like if he put a little bit more zip on that throw, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
You kind of floated it in there.
He did, yeah.
Nah, dude, it's Jelani deserves them. He needs the snaps, bro, because
he does.
That kid's a specimen. I mean, really.
Here's a question. G. Scott Jr.
Why are we talking about this?
Yeah, why are we talking about G?
No, you'll see why. So he ended up having in this game, like when it came to snaps, he ended up having 24. So he had the second most snaps. He got called for the holding on the Quinshon Judkins, like I believe it was 70 or 80-yard touchdown that got called back. Are we to a point where G. Scott should be the third tight end in this offense? Because to me, it sounds like it's just not going to be that way because clearly he's loved by his teammates. And I'm not saying that doesn't matter, but like, dude, on the football field, I don't see anything. Even Will Kazmarek, I mean, he's at least better in the run game. Jelani Thurman, he will be inconsistent, but he's your receiving threat. G. Scott Jr. to me just feels like the odd man out, and I feel like they're trying to almost in a way force something that just doesn't fit. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, it's like, you bring in Kazmarek from OU. Obviously, you didn't bring him in for no reason because tight end was kind of a question mark with the loss of Kate Stover to the draft. So you're kind of like, well, we have G. Scott. Jelani's obviously going to be a work in progress, but his ceiling is so high. And then, yeah, you just need – I think you brought in Kazmarek to kind of be the blocking tight end. You know, he'll catch like a little out pass, whatever, but he's not going to beat you down the field and be like your seam tight end. It's unfortunate because, he's been loyal to the Buckeyes. He could have left. He's always been kind of like the odd guy out in every position, from receiver. He's a top prospect in the receiving corps, but then he kind of gets jumped. Then he goes to tight end to try. I think that like you said, they're just trying to get him on the field, and it's just not working out. So it's unfortunate, but yeah, I think it's leading to him being tight end 3 eventually.
I think by the end of the year he will be, in snaps. If he's not on the depth chart, technically, he will be in snaps.
Snaps, yeah.
I'm hoping after the bye, maybe it changes a little bit and Jelani is starting to get more and more snaps. That's what I'm hoping to see at least. But looking down the list, something else that caught my eye. I feel like we talk about him like we've talked about in the last 2 years. Is it quite possible that CJ Hicks just is not that good? I think the question at some point has to be asked because Arvell Reese got more snaps than him on Saturday. And believe me, I think Arvell Reese arguably could be a starter on this defense because that's what I see in him. I think he flies to the ball, makes a ton of plays. He's everywhere on the field. CJ Hicks, to me, man, outside of one sack, I have not seen this man do anything. And I understand he's an athlete. He's a former 5-star. I don't know, dude. Like, I've seen Gabe Powers make more plays than CJ Hicks. And that's not knocking Gabe Powers, That's the fact that this guy has not had many snaps in his entire career.
He's a walk-on.
No, not Gabe Powers.
No. Oh, okay.
No, you're good. You're good. But it's like, at what point do we just say that maybe CJ, we've been trying to build him up for a while. Like, this guy's going to be great. He's going to be a great piece for the defense for Jim Knowles. At what point do we just think that maybe this guy is not all the hype just isn't there anymore? He is not this guy that's going to make a huge impact on this defense, because the way these snap rotations are playing out, he's dropping guys. He is not. It did not improve against a lesser opponent again. It went down for him.
Yeah.
I mean, when he's not blitzing, he's kind of bad.
We'll see. I think he's still, what is true sophomore this year?
I think he's a junior. Or a redshirt sophomore, maybe
redshirt sophomore, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, James Laurinaitis likes him. I mean, I think he wants to see him on the field. But with the way Reese has been playing, I mean, the kid goes sideline to sideline. He makes plays. It's hard to keep a dude like that off the field,
Junior. He's a junior, by the way.
So he's a true junior.
Yeah, 6'3", 233 pounds. I mean, the dude, it's hard to not want to put him on the field.
Right. Yeah. I mean, he's another dude that's just you look at his specs, you're like, geez, why isn't this guy very good? Or why isn't he playing very much? I don't know, man. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Because, yeah, like you said, former 5-star guy. Sometimes they don't translate. He's a bust, bro. He's got the busted gem. I don't know.
Yeah. No, actually, that's the perfect description. But all right, guys. So now we'll kind of move on a little bit from the Ohio State Western Michigan game. What caught your eye from around college football? Obviously, the big one, of course, we've talked about off air ad nauseum. Northern Illinois Huskies go to Notre Dame and upset the Fighting Irish. I'll say this: it's Notre Dame fans are done with Riley Leonard after 2
Brutal,
games.
Dude. We got the right guy. The Buckeyes definitely got the right guy, man. Because that pick that Riley Leonard threw late in that game, what are you doing, bro?
Well, so I was actually talking to my wife last night about Notre Dame because, I was talking about Marcus Freeman, and I was like, man, Marcus Freeman, this might be his last year. I was like, he's lost too many big games, and I remembered they lost to Marshall in his first season.
Yeah.
And just because we have Marshall coming up in our next game, and I was just like, man, Notre Dame lost to Marshall 2 years ago. And I'm just like, yeah, those are some rough losses to stomach as a prestigious, blue blood program. So,
well, it's brutal too, because he gets a staple win at Texas A&M.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah, best win of his career.
Tough, gritty win. And then you just lay an egg against Northern Illinois. I mean, and what the crazy thing is, like I said, I sent you the numbers for the last drive. I mean, Northern Illinois literally just ran the clock out. I mean, 11 plays. I think it was 33 yards, 5.5 minutes off the clock. They had to convert 2 4th downs, man. And the defensive line for Notre Dame just couldn't get a stop. It's crazy. It's incredible. But
it really is.
I mean, other than that, I think Boise State taking Oregon to the wire. I mean, that's 2 games for Oregon now. It's
they should be 0-2. You could make the argument they could be 0-2 right now.
You could really argue. I mean, a last-second field goal to beat Boise State at home. They put up a lot of points. I mean, they had to put up a lot of points to beat Boise State.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. That was kind of that was the nightcap. So not a lot of people really paid attention to it unless you're on the West Coast. But
I
mean, they can't stop. They can't stop Ashton Jeanty, who is arguably right now one of the Heisman Trophy just stat-wise, one of the Heisman Trophy front runners. Good luck stopping Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson. We're a long ways away, but yeah, Oregon right now is really spotty. Got to talk about the Longhorns. I think it's safe to say, guys, Texas is back. That program, Steve Sarkisian's got those boys humming. You go up to Michigan, you just absolutely embarrassed the Wolverines. Michigan has no quarterback. We talked about that last week. They have no one at quarterback right now. And again, great story for Davis Warren, truly. It's actually one of those types of stories that is kind of just incredible and hard to believe. like he's overcome so much to be the starting quarterback at Michigan, but let's be real, they got nothing there. I mean, Donovan Edwards is not a cover star of College Football 25 by any means. The dude looks like that he belongs for a MAC school because he just cannot run the football to save his life. They have no wide receivers whatsoever. It's a bad situation up there right now.
So,
And
all right, I just want to run this by you. It's with how much they lost last year, why were they so highly ranked?
The defense.
because they just won a title.
I think the title
That happens every year.
But they
The
didn't really
defense.
return anybody on defense.
I mean, a lot of their D line was back, I thought, and then
Yeah,
I mean, they obviously
Mason Graham, Kenneth Graham. They
one
brought
of the
in
best corners.
they brought in one of the top linebacker transfers from Maryland.
Yeah,
Ohio State was
exactly.
actually going after him too, but he chose Maryland.
Yeah, one of the best
I mean,
corners
chose
in college
Michigan.
football on their team, right?
Yeah, Will Johnson, who apparently
Johnson,
is the
yeah.
highest rated player in college football 25 for some stupid reason. They brought him back. Like they brought back. I mean, Nick's
They
right.
brought
They
back
brought
some
back.
some key pieces.
Yeah, they have no quarterback. You
Yeah,
lost Blake
dude, it's
Corum.
dreadful.
Like it's just.
Well,
They brought back Colson Loveland, which is kind of a big deal, but they lost their entire offensive line basically. So
the thing is, it's like as soon as Orgy comes in the game, everyone knows it's a run. I mean, it's
Yep.
a run.
he can't throw.
I mean, and like I saw it a couple times. They were in the red zone, and like there's just no creativity when he comes into the game. It's just like a straight quarterback power. That's it. There's no motion. They line him up a pistol. He's the defensive coordinator, I thought, isn't he? Is he calling the defense, TJ?
Sharon Moore.
Yeah. Is he calling
I
the
thought he was
defense?
offensive coordinator.
I thought
Is
he
he
was,
the OC?
yeah, I thought he was OC last year.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's bad. It's bad up there in Michigan. So
It really is. Not our
I'm not
problem.
mad. I'm not mad about it. You know.
I think what's also standing out to me, dude, is just some of these, like Oklahoma, they were on the ropes this weekend. Alabama, the score does not indicate
No.
how close
game
that
was close.
Alabama, how close that Alabama game was. I think we saw, even though Iowa blew a lead, Iowa looks like they can put together a little bit of offense compared to in the past. So Iowa makes things a little interesting, at least with the talent they might have. Kansas State struggled at Tulane. Penn State
got one
struggled
for
with Bowling.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
The Cornhuskers of Nebraska laid a whooping on Colorado this weekend. Dylan Raiola
Dog
Dylan-
Sanders couldn't even stick around.
is Dylan Raiola legit?
Um,
I'm a little. I'm not gonna lie, dude. If he continues to progress, that game in Columbus in late October, it
Yeah.
could get interesting, dude.
I was
if he can
saying
come
the same
in here-
thing.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he looks pretty sweet.
he does, but I mean, he's also not necessarily like he's not putting on a Jeremiah Smith type of performance. Is all. I'll say.
No,
So like, this kid is going to go to Columbus not having really, for the most, Colorado's not a test. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I told you guys, and anyone in the chat, you can quote me on this. Colorado won't win a game the rest of the year. I've said it, and I stand by it. They're going at Colorado State this weekend. They're not going to win. So let me just say that right now. Nebraska's not going to be
They beat
tested. Till
Colorado
like,
State this weekend?
huh?
You don't think they beat Colorado State?
No, not on the road.
Okay.
They nearly lost. They nearly blew that lead last year and lost to Colorado State. So, like, that's how I feel. I think that program's a mess. Coach Prime is there to be a showcase for Hunter and Shador. Yeah, that's my Colorado spiel. But anyway, Nebraska's not really tested until they come to Columbus, and Dylan Raiola is going to have a reality check. I think he'll play decent, but I also think he's in for a culture shock that this is what Big Ten football is truly like, and now you're on the road in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm curious, though. It's kind of creepy how much he looks like Pat Mahomes. Is anyone else weirded out by that and the mannerisms and all of that? Like, just odd to me. But we'll see, guys. We'll see.
It's the arm angle, dude. That sidearm throw he had, everyone was like, "Oh my God, it's Pat Mahomes 2.0."
Dude, not only that, his
hair.
pregame, his everything, dude, about the kid. It's weird.
Man, let him be a wannabe. I don't know.
Hey, sure. Why not? All right, guys, let's have a little fun here. We're going to pick some college football games. We're gonna keep track of them, so keep track of the picks you make. There's a chance we might all agree on the same teams. That's fine too. But let's have a little bit of fun, and we'll keep track on this throughout the season, and kind of see at the end of the year who ends up winning this thing. So, first game up, Friday night in Manhattan, Kansas. Arizona, 20th ranked Arizona at 14th ranked Kansas State. Who do you guys got? Arizona came off a close win against Northern Arizona last Saturday at home. I got
Arizona.
Kansas State. I'll just be.
I'm taking Arizona, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
I want
taking
Arizona.
Arizona.
I got Arizona.
All right. Marking this down right now. Got to keep track of all these or else I'm going to completely forget.
I got mine right here.
I got mine right here, too.
Perfect. Okay. Sounds good. I'm writing notes in my phone. All right. Big noon kickoff. Number 4, Alabama at Wisconsin. Alabama. Yep. Wisconsin has done nothing to show me that they're a serious football team this year.
The fact that that's the big noon kickoff game is kind of funny. Jump around.
All right. Tulane at 15th ranked Oklahoma. Tulane coming off nearly putting a scare at home into Kansas State.
It's at Oklahoma, you said?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Oklahoma.
Give me the green wave.
Oh.
I got Oklahoma as well.
I have bias because I have a dynasty with them in 25. So give me Tulane. Give me the green wave.
All right. All right. Love it. No, I love it. All right. Here's a fun one.
Biased.
Here's a fun one. 18th ranked Notre Dame at Purdue.
I think Notre Dame bounces back and beats Purdue pretty handedly.
I got Purdue.
It's going to go into 8 overtimes and in a tie. I got Notre Dame winning that game.
All right, Nick. The final game we end with here.
Oh, jeez.
Number one,
do
Georgia.
Oh,
Number
dude,
one,
don't
Georgia.
even do it, bro.
Well,
Georgia
dude,
by 50. Georgia by 50.
It's literally one of the prime, like, with a.
I know, 7:30.
Yeah, it's literally nothing. The schedule this week sucks. Let's be real.
It's pretty brutal, dude.
No, but seriously, number one, Georgia at Kentucky. Yeah.
Georgia by 100, dude.
Go Dogs.
Kentucky coming off one of probably the worst performances of football I've seen in person with my own 2 eyes. South Carolina went into Lexington last week and just absolutely destroyed them on both sides of the football. UK looked completely incompetent on the offensive side of the ball. Georgia is going to come in to Lexington and put an old-fashioned whooping on them.
That's
it. Huh? I found 2 more.
2 more.
I'm gonna be there to witness it too, so I'll give you a live update.
Tell me how good Carson Beck looks.
All right.
And Trevor Etienne.
That's true. He's back. Gosh dang it.
All right. I found 2 more. This is my fault for completely skipping this. 16th ranked LSU at South Carolina.
Ooh.
Give me Brian Kelly and the Fighting LSU Tigers.
I got South Carolina in this game.
I got South Carolina as well. LSU struggled a little bit last week.
And South Carolina is a really tough place to play.
It is. LSU, I mean, last week, LSU, let me see if I can. Okay.
What time is that game, TJ?
That game is a noon kickoff.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
I think that's the SEC Network.
LSU struggled with Nicholls State up until about end of the third quarter.
Alabama struggled with who? Florida? What? Florida?
South Florida is different than Nicholls State.
True.
All right. Now the last game. This is for sure the last one. Number 24, the Fighting Bill O'Briens of Boston College at number 6, Missouri.
Oh.
Gosh. Do I have to pick this game?
I guess you could pull a Kirk Herbstreit and just.
I'll take Mizzou.
I got Missouri.
I'm gonna go Boston College on that one.
I think.
All right.
Who's that quarterback from Boston College? He's kind of fun to watch.
The next Lamar Jackson, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, which is interesting because like that's not like a typical quarterback. I feel like that Bill O'Brien would go and run his offense through. So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I think Missouri gets it done at home.
To be fair, there might not have been much to work with there.
True.
Golden Eagles.
So, all right, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I am really curious to see. We each have some interesting picks. The other one that I didn't say, but I thought about it was Oregon at Oregon State.
Ooh, Civil War? A little Civil War action?
Yeah.
Can we pick it anyway?
We can. I mean, Oregon State's pretty terrible.
Is it at Oregon State?
It is. 3:30 kickoff.
Do we like the Ducks on upset alert?
Man, that'd be
pretty bad, dude.
This is where I'm torn because, like, with some of these picks, because so far this year, some of these teams have just looked so bad, but they keep winning. Like, Oregon's one of them. Oregon does not impress me. They really don't.
Nah, dude, they're not very physical.
Their defense can't stop the run game, like, and that's a problem. Now, Oregon State doesn't have Damian Martinez. They don't have Aiden Childs anymore. They don't have DJU. Not the DJ game. Pull it up.
If it's more than 20, I'm gonna take Oregon.
Their playoff pick to win the ACC is Florida State.
You think they're still gonna win the ACC?
Sleeper.
Does DJU just like get cut or what?
Yeah, seriously.
He turns it around.
I'm taking Oregon.
Oregon State plus 16.5.
Yeah, I'm taking Oregon. I'm taking Oregon and the points. I think they cover at 16.5.
I'll take Oregon as well.
I got Oregon too. I just don't. Oregon State lost to everybody.
Dude,
so like,
I'm still stuck on your FSU to win the ACC pick. That's interesting.
Sleeper. It's a sleeper. It's
Hey man, I got an even bigger dark horse for you. How
probably the one I was going to say.
The Syracuse Orangemen.
The Fighting McCords.
Whenever they play Florida State, they're going to get whooped.
Bro, I will say, as much as McCord, I mean, he didn't really struggle last year, but he didn't have a great year, right?
Let's say it that way, yeah.
The way he's looked in these first two games has been awesome for him. Like, to go play a number 23 ranked Georgia Tech and put up almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, good for him. I mean,
dude, I was never, like...
I was never a McCord hater either. He just wasn't our guy. Wasn't our guy.
True.
Wasn't the right guy for the team. And it happens. Yeah, you're right. Because like it's not like he came in and was like, you know what? Screw Ohio State. I hate these guys. Like, he saw we brought in Will Howard. He's like, all right, like, I'm just gonna go where I know I'm gonna play, and that'd be it.
Technically, he made the decision beforehand.
He saw the writing on the wall.
The writing was on the wall for sure.
Yeah, because he wasn't guaranteed he was going to.
I'm glad to see him balling.
Before we get out of here, I got one thing to touch on. We haven't talked about it, which I'm surprised because TJ loves this person. Julian Sain threw his first touchdown pass.
I know. You're right, dude. TJ normally is like, oh my God, Sain's in the game. He's like, he's Jesus.
Oh, I did 100%. Not say that he was
football Jesus over here.
100%.
Whatever, man. Like
he feels about Julian Sain how Texas fans feel about Arch Manning. That's how TJ feels.
Pretty much.
Bro, let's get this straight. Most Buckeye fans feel that way about Sain.
That's facts.
Like this, like
I'm not a Sain fanboy though.
He did nothing to even remotely stop the hype. Like, I mean, when your first pass is a touchdown, yeah.
Off an RPO too? Was it RPO?
Oh yeah.
He's like, yep.
It was a great.
Dude, I love the tight end hitting like the photo finish, like he's the track star at the end. That was great.
Dude, that was perfect. Dude. And Bennett Christian's first touchdown too. So that
career catch, man. Like
it might have been his first career catch too. Yeah, I don't know.
There's something about the way that Sain throws the football that just looks. The way it just,
it's so nice.
I know. I wish we had that in Cleveland. That's a whole other. That's a whole other thing, though.
Oh.
Don't even bring that. Don't even bring that juju into this podcast right now, dude. Don't even do that.
That's like, yeah, we're not even. Can you cut that?
No, but for real, I'm saying, man, like, I hope that there's another opportunity this year for him to get some reps. I don't know if there will be, because I do agree you gotta get your backup quarterback is gonna be Devin Brown, it appears. Get him more reps, because I think he needs them too. But I'll be honest with you, I was saying it in some Buckeye chats too. I wanted to see Julian Sand more. Like, don't get me wrong, I know Devin Brown needs the reps, but I want to see my freshman, man. Like, I want to see Sand. I want to see toy, man. I want to see Peoples. I want to see Sam Williams-Dixon. I want to see Mylan Grant. I still want to see Mylan Grant more. I know we're not going to. It's just the way it is this year, but I think that kid's going to be special. Like, I want to see Edric Houston, Aaron Scott Jr.
Oh,
Dude, I want to see these high-profile
Edric
guys.
Houston, bro.
Hey, Aaron Scott Jr. got some playing time this weekend.
He did. Just wait. That kid's kid's going to be another great one. Like, Tim Walton Jr. That's the other thing we should do. Once this recruiting class for 2025 is done, what we should do is start comparing our recruiters a little bit and see where they all rank. Because now James Laurinaitis is bringing in top line, but like it's a fun off-season conversation. So something I think to consider. But well, guys, it's a fun show. Anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up?
I don't think so.
Sure.
All right. 500 people tuned into us tonight. So first off, thank you guys so much for that.
Dang.
I know a lot of you guys are watching on Twitter, X, whatever Elon wants me to call it. I don't know. But if you would just take that quick second, go over to the YouTube channel, just drop a like on that video, please. We really would appreciate that. Helps that YouTube algorithm grow. But also subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. This way you don't miss any Ohio State content that we have throughout the year. There will be no Ohio State game day preview this week, of course, because the Buckeyes are on a bye week. And so we will be Improvement week. Thank you, Nick. Yeah, improvement week. But anyway, there will be no Ohio State game day preview this week. We will be back live Tuesday night at 7:00. So you want to make sure you guys don't miss that. We might do a little bit of freshman grading, kind of talk about how the freshmen have done so far this year and expectations for each one of them throughout the rest of the season. But thank you guys for tuning in this episode of the Scarlet and Gray Podcast. We will talk to you guys all again soon. And as always, go Buckeyes.